Well, we're taking you back to the Senate now and about the ministerial list which has been announced in plenary. Well, our correspondent Linda Kigbe joins us now from Abuja to bring us up to speed about what is going on there. Linda, well, tell us about this list. Well, yes, indeed, the much anticipated attention by the Senate. They've read it out.
Close to the Senate chamber, where the Senate President a few minutes ago finally read the much anticipated ministerial list. And he did that in a dramatic manner. He actually raised the envelope which he received from the Chief of Staff of the President to signify that he had not opened the envelope, and then he read the list. And let me tell you, some of the names on the list include Mr. Abubakar Malami, Abdurrahman Dambazo. First of all, it was 21 names he read, and others on the list are Aisha Al-Hassan, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Babatunde Fashola, Adebayo Shitu, Solomon Dalong, as well as Senator Chris Ngige, Mr. Rotimi Amechi, and Chief Aldu Ogbe. Others on the list are Amina Ibrahim, Dr. Sage Ehaneri, Mr. Ibe Kachiku, Mr. Kayode Fayemi, the former governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Suleiman Adamu, Mrs. Kemi Adeoshu, and Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu. We also have on the list Honorable Ahmed Bello, Mr. Ibrahim Jubril, and Senator Hadi Serika, and Senator Udo Udoma. So we have some senators, 7 senators and former senators on the list. Now, the screening, the Senate President has fixed the screening of the ministerial nominees for Tuesday, next week, Tuesday, 13th of October. That's when they'll begin the screening of the list. It's not clear for now if the President will send more names, because it's just 21 names which the President sent for screening. Now, we saw the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Akpabio, he raised the point of order, drawing that he drew the attention of the Senate to the fact that the President only sent 21 names, and he said the Constitution stipulates that the President has to send 36 names, which he hasn't sent. So he wondered why that was happening. But the Senate President asked him to basically watch and see and wait to see what will happen before the end of the week if the President would send the additional names. But for now, we have 21 names, and the Senate President has confirmed that the screening of the 21 ministerial nominees would be on Tuesday, next week, Tuesday, October 13th. So right now, I have with me here a lawmaker representing Delta, Senator Mwaboshi. Senator Mwaboshi, you're welcome to Channels.
Thank you very much.
Now, the much anticipated list has finally been read. The Senate President did read it plenary. I know many Nigerians will be heaving a sigh of relief. What are your reactions? What your impressions about the names on the list? What do you make of them?
Well, we've seen the names. We've read the names. I don't know what to say, because those are names that are known to Nigerians. And we were expecting sense, but we didn't see sense that we were. But it's okay. We will see. We will look at the list. We will look at them. We'll have a good screening. Now,
the Senate President did say the screening would take place on Tuesday, 13th. We know that we have at least 3 lawmakers on the list, 7 lawmakers, Senator Serika, and then 2 former lawmakers on the list. Would the Senate continue with the tradition of take a bow and go? What are we going to see on the screening, on the day of screening? Will it be the usual practice of take a bow and go?
There's not going to be, no, it's not going to be that, take a bow and go.
Why?
We'll look at it. Nigerians are expecting a lot from us. And so they want us to see, they want to see what we're going to do. And we're going to do a thorough job. There's no doubt about that. We are going to look at all of them. We may have time to look at our colleagues, but it may not be, it's not going to be the practice as usual, just take a bow and go. It's not going to be that.
Now, looking at the names on the list, do you think the impression you got from the names, the drive, anti-corruption drive by Mr. President, do you think these people on the list would deliver in even meeting the aspirations, the anti-corruption aspirations of the President and development drive of Mr. President?
Well, just wait. When we start, you will know where we are going to. I don't want to preempt the Senate. When we start, you'll be able to find out where we're going to. That I can assure you. You know, my opening speech, I said, we thought, the impression was sense. But you can see from the list. Sense.
What do you mean?
Sense. That encompasses your question. You asked me.
You're not impressed with the names?
I've not said anything like that, but just wait and see. We'll do a good work. That's all I can say. Because it has taken over, like I said the other day, it's taken quite a while to appoint the ministers. And when it eventually came out, There's nothing so special. These are people we know before. These are people we have known in this country. So there's nothing so special about the list.
Are you also concerned because, like what the Senate Minority Leader, he raised a point that only 21 names have been sent. Are you concerned that we just have a partial list, we don't have a complete list as at today?
That is APC for you. That's APC for you. I don't want to say more than that. That's APC for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senator Nwaboshi. Now, also joining me here live is Senator Borofis. Senator Borofis, you're welcome to Channel Television. Yes. Now, the much anticipated list has finally been read. What are your impressions of the names on the list?
Well, I think these are very, very, what I can say, one of the first 11 in this country in terms of productivity, in terms of integrity and honor. And it is my belief that the President has taken his time to identify these individuals to be members of his cabinet and to drive this administration and ensure that we all experience the much expected change.
Now, the previous lawmaker who I just spoke with, Senator Nwaboshi, she did say the people on the list is not a surprise. The people we know. Maybe he expected, different sets of people to be on the list. He's not excited. Going by his body language, he's not particularly excited by the names on the list. Do you agree with this?
Well, we don't have to look for surprises in a situation like this. You should know that even Mr. President himself, this is his second incarnation. In other words, he has had a previous experience in governance. And what he has done is to identify those who have track record. Look at Fashola, for instance. The man has a track record in terms of performance in Lagos State. And you can, talk about a number of them that have track records in terms of productivity. I don't think Mr. President wants to do experiment. So by bringing new people or surprises, maybe you want to experiment. He wants to start job immediately. So he's using those who have experience, those who have track record, those who have experience in governance. And I think that is the best thing for us to do. This is not time for experimentation. This is not the type of trials. This is time of real work.
So Senator Borofis, we have a tradition in the Senate where former lawmakers, when they come for screening, they usually ask to take a bow and go. We have like 2 or 3 former senators here on the list: Senator Udo Udoma, Senator Hadi Seriki, who is even still, and Senator Chris Ngige. Would this tradition continue come Tuesday next week?
Well, I think so, except if the Senate thinks otherwise. We tried to change it in the 7th Assembly when Senator Banikoro was brought before us, and the Senate and the 7th Assembly insisted we should just bow and go. I don't think we have any reason now to change that tradition. However, if the Senate decides to change that tradition, so be it. But I think that these are colleagues, most of the except Udo Udoma, who served maybe in the 4th Assembly. Some of these were other Senator Sirika, Senator Alazan, Senator Ngigi, all served in the 7th Assembly. So I think we should adopt the same tradition of take a bow and go.
Now, come Tuesday, what sort of questions would you want to pose to the ministerial nominees to sort of get a hint, a clue of what their capabilities? What would you be asking them? What would you want to hear from them come Tuesday?
Well, I think first and foremost we don't receive their CVs. When we receive their CVs, we'll be able to look at it, their educational qualification, their experience in governance, and from there we'll be able to ask them what they have to offer the nation. I think questions can be spontaneous, arising from maybe answers given to previous questions. These are not usually premeditated, but there are valid questions that can be asked to assess the suitability and the capability of the nominees. So as on Tuesday, 13th of October, we will all be there, and if some of us are lucky that our hands, catches the eye of the Senate President, we'll be ready to make contribution to ensure that we make a very good show, in screening these nominees.
Thank you very, very much, Senator Boniface. Thank you for coming on Channels. Now, that's all. Plenary is still on. We just spoke to 2 lawmakers to get a sense of, what the impressions are on the ministerial nominees. And like I said earlier, the Senate President has confirmed that the screening will take place next Tuesday on the 13th of October. So we'll just have to wait until then and see how it will play out in the Senate. And that's all for me from Abuja.